Cut. All right, let's get it started. Hopefully my phone does better audio this time. You really messed up big time and cut off a lot of my voice, but we'll do better today. It is a beautiful morning. This is literally my favorite place on campus. Actually, there's the new library that has a better view, low-key, but it was closed today. They didn't tell me why. So, yeah, this video is probably the question I'm asking is, what do you want to do with your life? That might be a little cringy. So, right now, if you want to hop on and start making a podcast that makes fun of this one, you can actually contact Skin Guizmo and Rick Bob, and they're on that. So, email them, you got it. But actually, I think cringy things are, like, some cringy things are good, mainly because they are cringy. It's not not some bad meme or joke that, like, a 6-year-old would laugh at, but more like being cringy is something that really shows vulnerability, because you're really putting yourself out there for everyone to judge you. And yeah, I don't know, I feel like vulnerability, if you're vulnerable too much, like enough, then you just start to become invincible. And I think invincible is something it's not that you can never get hurt. It's that if you do get hurt, you can put yourself back together almost immediately. Oh shit, where are you? 2 mission. Alright, so what do I want to do with my life? I'm going to start talking about what I have done. Just in like high school, I got a black belt in karate, and in the beginning of this freshman year at Georgia Tech, I did a marathon and then trained for a half Ironman, and I think that's the biggest physical accomplishment. I don't know, I need to exceed for a certain time. So, I don't know, that was really fun. It was a lot of hard will training, but it was something that you just get instant gratification from training it. Like, it's a lot of hard work, but when you're done, it pays off. And I think that's a lot to do with like strength training too, because it's kind of the most right direction you can go, because it's in the direction of being healthy, I think. And that's probably one of the most black and white things, is being healthy and unhealthy, eating unhealthy food, or eating like a salad, or exercising or not exercising. I think that's a pretty binary decision of right and wrong. And so I think that's why I've succeeded on that so far, mainly because the goals are pretty understandable and straightforward. Other than that, at the end of my senior year in high school, I started a bike share program within like the hometown area around my school, and bike share program was then adopted by the government and then spread to many different places. It sounds like a big thing, but really it was not that big of anything. I repaired a few bikes and set up the program to work initially, and then really just resume upgraded to make it seem like I cured every cancer or something. The other thing I did the hidden smoke sleeve. I think I talked about it last podcast. It was a thing for the Juul that sucked into your wrist like an Assassin's Creed blade or something. And that was fun to do over the summer. Making videos and advertisements for that was fun. I was able to actually fly up to New York and meet with manufacturers to see if the product took off. They'd be able to go and actually make it into an actual product. Those guys are at OAB Manufacturing or Semtrex Labs right in Manhattan. But yeah, that sounds like I'm a big deal, but really we sold just $400 worth, and then got a cease and desist from Juul, so that's pretty much canceled. Another thing that I worked on last semester was called Booster Bracelet, or last semester rather. Booster Bracelet was like an iPhone charger that you wore on your wrist, and so it had like the brick that you plug into the wall. And in order to put it on your wrist, my partner and I, his name's Hunter, we actually shrunk the circuit down that needed to transform the power, like basically when you plug it into the wall, so you don't have an iPhone brick on your wrist. It's something a lot slimmer, about half the thickness. But yeah, that was really fun when we actually made the circuit work. I'm probably most proud of that out of most things I've done technically in my life. But yeah, I don't really think that I'm going to progress with Booster Bracelet, mainly because the market is filled with so many products similar to something like that, and I just don't really see it catching on. I had it in my room like for a few months and I never even used it, just because I didn't see that I needed to. And so if I didn't really see I needed to use it, why would anyone else? Alright, so now let's talk about what I'm doing now. Well, right now I'm filming this podcast and you're listening to it. Bang. But yeah, I actually started this to give framework for my life. I expand more on that on the last podcast, but I really think this is gonna be fun. Podcasts are hype. I can tell. Another thing I'm working on is called Waiter, W8R. It's kind of a weird name, but it was initially mindseted towards automating like a wait staff in a service restaurant, where it didn't really ask for your order or anything. It just brought your plate to your table, and it did this through like electromagnetic transportation. There would be magnets in the plate and electromagnets on the table, and so the plate would pretty much like slide around the table wherever it needed to get to someone. And I think the mindset of having it be a whole system, because I also designed like a system for the plate to come from the restaurant to the table, basically underground, and then from underground to the top of the table, and then slides to you. And I think that is a very complicated system. Definitely would be challenging to produce at my level of prototyping experience, but I do think, because I made a new type of linear motor, it's not too revolutionary. It just uses permanent magnets on the transporting device rather than on the floor, and have the device be filled with electromagnets. I think this is good because then the plate doesn't have to weigh a lot. It doesn't have to be weighed down by a bunch of electromagnets. And you could pretty much mass produce them and have them all run along a track. And the fact that the plate itself and the electromagnets have no moving parts within them is just like different levels of current are running to the electromagnet at certain times, so it creates a three-phase circuit that propels a series of magnets along a course. And I was actually able to make it work over a flat surface pretty accurately. But something I want to go from there and maybe expand is having a grid of electromagnets, so I can possibly make the plate move in 2 dimensions rather than just back and forth in 1 dimension. Okay, and something I just started recently, and I don't know how far I'll take this, but it's called free printing or free 3D printing or whatever like that. Wow, that's a beautiful cardinal. Yeah, that you won't see it though. Okay, the free 3D printing is basically an online service where I like 3D print something and send it to you for you. And I know it would be very hard to be like profitable on that if I just have one 3D printer, but I think there's a possibility of expanding it to a network of people. There's actually some companies like this that do exist already. One of the big one is called Treat Stock, and they pretty much do exactly what I'm talking about, and they have a lot more filament capabilities and already an entire network of 3D printing suppliers. And so I think they definitely have a better product than I do so far on the 3D printing market. But if I can expand, and so it's something that's a little bit more than 3D printing, but like you pay, you send out a request over a large amount of people, like, yo, I'll pay $10 to anyone who can like help me with my math homework tonight. And so then people can like say, oh, yo, I got you tonight, I'll help you, and they come on and they organize a Skype call or something. And I think that'd be cool, because it'd be like students helping students, and in your free time you can pretty much instantly tutor on demand, kind of like an Uber for tutoring. Oh, yo, that's pretty cool. That's a good idea. Yeah, I should definitely write that down. Okay, now to the crux of the video. What do you want to do? And the thing that I did here is I underlined want, because I think, or I've realized that if you want to do something, more or less you will do it no matter what. Like, you want to do something, then there's things in place right now that are restricting you from doing it, or else you would be doing it currently. And like, something that I think about that is, like, right now it's early, it's in the morning, I want to be sleeping. I want to be cuddled up in my bed. Like, I don't want to be awake, but here I am awake. And I don't know if that's the best way to describe it. I want to like eat a slice of pizza for lunch because I think it tastes good. I probably will, but like, I think the best thing to do is, because most people say like, oh, I want to be a CEO of a company, or I want to be a professional athlete, or I want to do this and this and this. But I think what you're really saying is you want to do that. Like, I know that's a little repetitive, but it's like you want yourself to want that, doing that like enough, because if you really want something, then you'll stop at nothing to do it. And so if you're not currently pursuing what you want to do, then you don't really want it. And so what you're really saying is you really want to do this. And I don't know if that's like confusing or doesn't make any sense at all, but what I've been doing is like, I look up to people a lot, and I say like, oh, I want to be them. I want to like have a cool business. I want to do all these cool things. I want to like be a very good athlete, or I want to be really in shape. And I think I really changed when I stopped being like, all right, if I was, I would think to myself, if I was someone who really wanted to do all these things that I say I want to do, then what would I do? What actions would I put in place to set forward I was kind of overweight in like high school, and so I thought, what's someone who really wants to be in shape, what do they usually do? And so I was just like, oh, they usually wake up early and go for a run, or they usually lift weights like 4 times a week or something. And so I would just start doing that. And like, as long as you stick to what's like prescribed, or what you yourself think that should be prescribed to someone who is in the process of achieving their goal, is what you should do. And I talked about just like losing weight and getting in shape, and then I kind of followed that further in like running a marathon and then doing an Ironman. I basically was like, okay, if I was going to want to do a marathon, what would I do? And I was like, all right, they'd probably get a buddy to train with. And so I'm like, Ron, let's run. We're running. We're doing this marathon. And so we did it. And that was very proud accomplishment in my life. I got to be honest. That was really good. But now let's go into what I want to do. And so then I can, from there, make decisions about how to fulfill my goals in the future. I'm just going to read down a list, and I'll stop myself if I actually, what I really want to do, this is something like maybe pretty obvious or straightforward, but I want to build something so cool that people think it's magic. I want a kid to see it, like a kid that's like around 10 and ask their parent like, yo, like how does that work, Dad? And Dad's like, we'll look it up when we get home, son, or something like that. And I don't know if it really has to be something specific like a location where there's really cool things going on around you, or if it's just a device that like allows you to fly by shooting lasers out of your feet or something like I just want to do something insanely cool. Another thing that might be a little abstract is just like pushing the needle forward. I think that might be able to accomplish along the lines of something cool, but like the needle is basically like where humanity is in current technology, and just like pushing the needle ever so slightly will bring the aggregate of society forward. And I think that is the best thing to aim for. And I think really if you think of society as just like a system or a machine, like that's just pouring a little bit more grease or like oil in the machine so it can run a little bit more efficiently. I don't know if that's a weird metaphor, but something really cool I was thinking that might be able to fulfill the last piece is making like a kind of unified system of education that's kind of like Google and like a college experience together. Google right now, it's like you look up something, it's like, oh, how does this work? And it'll just tell you, and then from there you have to go and browse certain articles if you really want to get an understanding, maybe watch a few videos. And so you can really have a perception for how a piece works. But I think that having kind of a system that's like a network or blockchain of maybe not blockchain, but like a network of understanding of how things work put together. So like I'd say, okay, how does my iPhone work? And so then the iPhone would go about it'd like expand, and you see, all right, so it's got a touch screen, might be OLED on your phone. It also has a processor, a Bluetooth transmitter, it's got a GPS locator, a NFC chip, it has a massive battery, or that's pretty much the heaviest thing in there. It's got memory, it's got all these things that when they come together they make them probably one of the most currently available and most widely available piece of technology that has the largest impact on our life. And I think it is so hard to really understand how something like that works because of how many complex components are in it. But if you can build a system that methodologically, or whatever that word is, can go through the processes of defining how a system works, then you can educate more people about the hardest thing to understand. And I think that'll really help in bringing the aggregate understanding of knowledge up. I'll probably do another video about this sometime. Other things I want to do that are pretty cheesy. I'd like to fly in space, maybe 0G, that'd be pretty hype. Maybe like walk on the moon, like that's like pretty intense, pretty out there. I don't know if my current trajectory in life is aiming me in a direction that would allow me to walk on the moon in 20 years, but if it really becomes that commercially available, then yeah, that'd be cool. I gotta put myself in a position that make that easy for me. And another thing, direct a movie. I don't know, I think movies have a big capability of influencing someone's life. I don't know to what degree, but yeah, I'd like to direct a movie and meet some of the cool people that are actors or whatever, because they're really able to convey some pretty intense feelings. And run a company. I feel like that's... We good? Oh, we're past 20. All right, run a company. I feel like that's pretty much the most straightforward thing out there that you can see I want to do. I ran so many companies myself. Maybe I should put run a successful, profitable company. It's always nice to have money, I found, because I don't know, I don't really use a lot of it, but it'd be cool because then you can buy more stuff to build. Yeah, okay. I don't know if I really wanted to go more into psychological understanding of wanting to do something. But I think all my brain juices have been squirted out for today. I don't know if that's creepy to say, but thanks for listening if you have. It's a wonderful day and only the beginning. I have some deformable bodies homework. I will definitely be getting bodied by that, but that's just a joke. All right. Yeah, have a great day. Thanks for watching.